USC's starting left tackle Austin Jackson had a decision to make this offseason that could have put his football future in jeopardy. It was a chance that Jackson knew he needed to take.
It was tough. You know, I love football, but our motto is faith, family, and football. And, you know, family's over football.
53 days before the season opener, Jackson wasn't here with his teammates. Instead, he was here, at home in Phoenix. His 18-year-old sister, Autumn, needed his help.
My daughter is perpetually dying. It's like Grim Reaper, just hovering around, waiting. Because without the blood of another human being, she would not be here.
Autumn Jackson has lived her whole life with a rare, potentially lethal genetic blood disorder called diamond blackfan anemia, meaning her bone marrow can't produce enough red blood cells.
All right, well, baby, we got it.
5 years ago, she became dependent on blood transfusions that she needed every 3 weeks. With each transfusion came a greater risk of cancer and organ failure.
This could get much worse for me, and I would hate to live my life the way I have been living it for these last few years.
Doctors told Autumn's family that a bone marrow transplant was the best option to prolong her life.
If we can find a donor, then we're going to have a transplant. But at that time, we didn't have a donor. We were on a search.
They were gonna test Austin, but it was like only a 25% chance or something like that. It would be a sibling match.
I was the first person they tested, and it happened to be a 100% match.
Any hesitation once you found out you were a match?
Oh, no, not at all. Not at all. This is something that I can't pass up. This is like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I can only imagine how many siblings wish they could do something like this for their sibling.
He came to me and basically said, there's 2 things that I would love to ask for.
The first was to skip 3 days of spring practice in April for a trip to Hawaii. It was a chance to spend time with family during Autumn's once-in-a-lifetime trip from the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
For Austin to say, you know what, this is more important than anything else that I do on this earth, is to go help a loved one. There was no question in my mind. Not only do you got to go do this, you get to.
The second thing Austin asked for was a month away from the team during off-season conditioning. Doctors wanted him working out on his own at home in Phoenix, so Austin wouldn't risk an infection that he could pass on to Autumn.
I kind of felt like everything we had gone through leading up to this point and us having to rely on each other and being really close to each other was for this moment, and that it was kind of like destiny. I feel like he's like a superhero sometimes, because it really is a courageous thing to do.
In early July, Autumn was admitted to Phoenix Children's Hospital for chemotherapy to destroy her bone marrow. 6 days later, Austin arrived for part 1 of the transplant.
I'm nervous. Yeah, they said it's gonna hurt a lot, so I don't know, I'm just anxious for that.
To do the bone marrow harvest, we use a trocar needle where we will drill this into his hip bone multiple times, and then we just aspirate the fluid through the hole of the needle.
All right, ready?
See you soon.
Numerous holes were drilled into Austin's hip. Over 3 hours, doctors extracted 1.4 liters of his bone marrow.
It feels good, you know, it's kind of relieving. It's, in a way, it's out of my hands now, so I just gotta let the rest work out and let Autumn get better.
The next morning, while Austin was at home in bed recovering from intense pain, His bone marrow was brought to Autumn.
It's pretty neat, huh? You see it?
Nearly 20% of patients with Diamond-Blackfan anemia don't survive this transplant process. But if it works, the procedure can be life-changing.
She won't need transfusions. She doesn't have to worry about the risk of leukemia. She doesn't have to worry about heart failure, the liver failure. He's saving her life. That's what he's doing.
53 days after he gave his sister new life, still sore and receiving physical therapy daily, Austin Jackson was there for his team, starting at left tackle for the Trojans. Nearly 400 miles away in Phoenix, now bald from the chemotherapy, Autumn is home from the hospital, a month ahead of schedule. It's still early, but the transplant appears to be a success.
She got really great marrow from her brother because every doctor, every nurse that came in, they were astounded.
I feel stronger. Certain tasks are easier to do. I'm starting to plan for the future, even though I have no idea what's going to happen next, but it's just so fun to know that I can do it one day.
We're so glad you're watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports and analysis, download the ESPN app. And for live streaming sports and premium content, make sure you subscribe to ESPN Plus. We'll see you there.